Yeah, hi, good evening, viewers. This is Wasim Ahmed once again with you, and as I promised you in my last video, that I'll be coming up with another scenario for you, especially to practice for the exam. The clock is ticking hard, and you have very short time left for exam. Guys, I kept on telling you in my earlier videos also that you don't need to open up the book, you don't need to go for memorization type of thing which we used to do earlier. The only thing you need to know is how to look at the scenario, how to develop summary of scenario, how to approach the questions. This is totally new style, and looking at the result, which is very bad. People were using those traditional techniques which they kept on using earlier for invigilated exams. Things are changed totally. You need to make sure that your examiner is expecting you to be master of the scenario which he gives you. So mainly, the more grip you have on your scenario, the more better you will be in answering the questions and connecting your knowledge with the answers you are going to give in the exam. So guys, many queries still prevailing, many ambiguities are prevailing. Many people they are sending me messages. They are asking me how to write in the exam, whether to write in bullet format, whether to write in a short definition format, or whether to write in paragraphs. Guys, if you have seen my videos, all my videos, you should never come up with such questions. We kept on discussing these things only in my videos, and I was telling you the technique to solve the exam. Even there is one complete solved exam on the channel. So if you have seen these videos, for sure all of these ambiguities are clear and you will not come up with such question, rather wasting your time as well as my time in all of these things. You should be stick to the methodology which we kept on discussing. So anyhow guys, all my best wishes are with you, and anybody who is going for exam on 28th, for sure, my best wishes are with him. And this is the main aim, this is the main theme of this channel, that I want you all to pass in the exam. So we'll be looking at this scenario. This is a real life scenario I have selected and developed for you. And if some of you have remembered, there was a crucial accident in 2015 September in Mecca in Saudi Arabia. And due to this plane collapse, there were 111 fatalities and more than 450 people, they were badly injured. So this is a real life scenario. So I would request you to simply look at the scenario carefully 2-3 times, and then look at the questions at the end which I put for you. So give it a try, and try to do it as it is your final exam. So this would be the best preparation for you, rather going back to the book and memorizing things and all of those old techniques. They are not going to work anymore. So let us see the scenario.
Crane collapse at Mecca, Saudi Arabia. A crawler crane collapsed over the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, around 5:10 p.m. on September 11, 2015, killing 111 people and injuring 394 others. The city was preparing for the Hajj pilgrimage. The accident has been cited as the deadliest crane collapse in modern history, with the previous most deadly incident being the collapse of a construction crane in New York City in 2008, killing 7 people. Following the accidents, the King of Saudi Arabia, Salman ibn Abdulaziz Al Saud, ordered a halt to the awarding of contracts to the Saudi Bin Laden Group, the primary contractor of construction works in the Holy City. The incident was found to have resulted from a combination of human error and forceful winds. The Saudi Civil Defense Authority confirmed that a crane collapsed through the ceiling of the mosque during strong winds created by a powerful storm. The crane fell into the east side of the mosque, with its boom crashing through the roofs of the eastern piazza. There were strong sandstorms in the region over the preceding week. The Saudi Civil Defense Authority said in a statement that an hour before the disaster, Mecca was experiencing medium to heavy rain. There were also reports of winds of more than 40 km per hour, 25 miles per hour. However, the exact cause of the crane collapse was not confirmed. The German-based Liebherr Group crawler crane LR 11350 involved in the incident was operated by the Saudi Bin Laden Group, who are the main organization managing the expansion of the Great Mosque and also responsible for a large amount of major building contracts in Mecca and around Saudi Arabia. A report by Liebherr later stated that the boom of the crane was not sufficiently secured by Bin Laden to sustain the high winds on the day of the accident. The Saudi Gazette reported that Khalid bin Faisal, Emir, governor, of Mecca, had ordered the Bin Laden Group to relocate cranes from pedestrian areas and to deploy safeguards to prevent pilgrims entering the construction zone, 11 days before the accident. Following the accident, the governor of Mecca, Prince Khalid al-Faisal, ordered an investigation into the incident. Search and rescue teams, along with medical workers from the Saudi Red Crescent Authority, were sent to the site. After visiting the site 2 days later, King Salman vowed that the accident will be investigated and the results of the investigation will be made public. Pictures and videos circulating on social media showed many dead and wounded amidst severe damage to the building. After receiving the report on the investigation into the incident, King Salman ordered on September 15 that top officials of the Saudi Bin Laden Group be banned from traveling outside the kingdom and that the group also be suspended from taking new projects. The report pinned the blame for the accident partially on the construction company. A royal court announcement carried by the Saudi press agency, SPA, said the king was reviewing the report of the Accident Investigation Committee, which suggested negligence on the part of the Saudi Bin Laden Group, but concluded that it found an absence of criminal suspicion. The report said the main reason for the accident is the strong winds while the crane was in a wrong position. An engineer for Liebherr said that the crane was erected in an extremely professional way, and the accident was an act of God. The Liebherr Group responded to the accident by sending local engineers and engineers from their crane manufacturing plant in Ehingen, Germany to help in the investigation of the accident and to assist on site. Liebherr Group experts who participated in the investigation of the collapse found no structural flaws in the crane. Their report stated that the crane's 190-meter, 620 feet, long boom was not sufficiently secured by its operators so as to withstand the high winds present on the day of the collapse and that use of that crane in those 80 to 105 km per hour, 50 to 65 miles per hour, winds was well outside the manufacturer's recommended operating parameters. King Salman ordered 1 million Saudi Riyal, $266,000, be distributed as compensation to the families of those who died in the crane collapse, and that 2 relatives of each of the deceased are to be the king's guests for Hajj in 2016, adding that a further 1 million Riyal will be paid amongst the victims of the collapse who had sustained a permanent disability, and 500,000 Riyal, $133,000, will be paid among victims without lasting injuries. King Salman also decreed that these compensation payments will not prevent private legal claims by the injured and families of the deceased. In August 2016, Saudi Gazette reported the trial of 14 individuals, with Okaz adding that prosecutors did not file charges against 42 others who were under investigation, including 16 members of the Bin Laden family, according to.
So guys, there was a detailed information in the scenario, and you were told in the scenario that how the accident happened, what were the reasons, and what were the damages, post-accident damages, and all of those things. So here are the questions now out of scenario. So the task 1 is why to manage health and safety, and the question is why the management did not consider safety as a top priority. So there are so many clues in the scenario itself, that what were the attitude of Bin Laden group in taking up safety as a priority. So I will be discussing answer to this question with you in the coming slides, but rest of the 3 answers you have to answer yourself so that you have practice in the exam. Second task is why to manage health and safety again, and the question is provide moral, legal, financial impact of the accident using information provided in the scenario. So here the examiner made your life easy, and most of the things are already discussed. Number of fatalities, number of injuries, so many things are discussed as a moral obligation. Then the legal issues are when the Bin Laden family was banned to travel out of the country, and there are so many other legal things discussed in the scenario. And looking at the financial impact, you might have noticed in this scenario how King have paid a lot of money to the dead people families, to the injured people families, and a lot of compensation was paid. But this compensation is not paid out of the court decisions. This was a gesture of King, who took action in this and who paid money from their own kingdomship. Okay, this was not out of a court or something as a compensation. This was not paid by Bin Laden group. So you have plenty of information available to solve this question also. 15 marks question. You need to come up with sufficient information from the scenario. Even the first question is 15 marks question. So you need to come up with adequate information to justify 15 marks. Task 3 is health and safety monitoring and measuring. The question is list down the immediate and root causes of accidents, 10 marks. Again, guys, you have given sufficient information in this scenario. Even in this scenario, it is clear what were the causes of the accident. The heavy winds and the poor positioning of the crane, and so many things were discussed. So this question also you can solve easily. And then next task is health and safety improvements. So provide 10 recommendations with justification to avoid such accidents in future. Again, 10 marks question. So I think looking at the problems associated in the scenario, looking at the issues discussed in the scenario, you are in a much better shape now to come up with the recommendations, and you need to provide 10 recommendations in short answering format, in short paragraphs. So these are the questions developed out of the scenario, and total word count is allowed is 1200. The same pattern, 300 words for each question. Now you need to look at the marks. If there is 15 marks, you can go a bit higher in the word count, and you can reduce a bit word count in your 10 marks questions. So this is how you need to be answering these questions, and keeping the same pattern which we kept on discussing. First of all, taking important points from the scenario, making summary of your scenario, and then approaching the questions and answering those questions from the knowledge you have from different sources of information. There is a lot of information available on internet regarding this accident, so you can use some of those information also. You can use some of the information from your book and other sources you have, but you need to come up with good answers accordingly. So guys, if we look at question number 1, I have given you some of the bullets here, but again I want to clarify to every one of you that you are not going to write in this style which is written on this slide. You have to explain it in your own words. This is just for your help and support. I have put important points here, but at the end of the day you need to explain them with a bit more detailed style, okay, to get 15 marks out of the answer. So these are some of the expected reasons why Bin Laden failed to take safety on top priority, why they were not keeping safety on top priority. These are some of the important reasons we can discuss. So first of all, ignorance of legal duties by Bin Laden group. Guys, it is very clearly mentioned in the scenario that Governor Makkah, he was telling them right 11 days before the accident, he was telling Bin Laden to move their cranes and clear the walkways, and these things may come up with a disaster. But nobody looked at these orders, and they ignored the legal duties mainly. Also, many other ignorant points are there. They could not secure the crane, they could not park it properly, the boom was in the air, they could not look at the weather forecast and all those things. So ignorance of legal duties can be one of the strongest point of discussion to answer this question. Then focus on output and profitability, not health and safety. This is another important point because it is clearly mentioned in the scenario that Bin Laden Group was awarded so many projects in Makkah, and due to the busy schedule sometime, due to the focus towards other operational requirements, they could not focus on safety. So this was a lapse also from Bin Laden side. Safety is considered as a cost to the business, taking a short-term view. Okay. Usually management have a short-term view that safety is a cost to the business, but if you have such disasters which happened here, in this case, for sure safety is not a cost, it's a benefit to the business, and this incident could have been prevented very easily if they would have given utmost importance to health and safety. Then there's a point, ignorance of true cost to the business of incidents and accidents. Same point in a different way, that incidents and accidents, they cost money to the business, and since they were ignoring the true cost of those incidents and accidents, they could not keep safety on top priority, but they were looking at the short-term perspective, which is the uh, profitability usually. Okay, competition within the business for access to the limited funds. Okay, there might be a competition in different departments, production department, health and safety department, and we all know that these competitions are normal within the organization. So whenever there's a competition, whenever the other departments think that safety is just eating up the budgets and all that, then such things come up, and then you have such disasters because safety is not considered as top priority. One more point is an unwillingness or lack of resources to devote time to health and safety management. Okay, in such organizations where you have so much busy schedules, where you are working on so many projects, it is common that people are not willing to give resource to the safety, and we all know that there are many kind of resources required for health and safety management. You need human resources, you need financial resources, you need safety equipments, machines, and all of those things. So in this case, this point can also be connected very strongly. Then failure to perceive hazards in their operations. For sure, this was clearly mentioned in the scenario that few hours before there was a forecast that there is a heavy wind and storm hitting Makkah very soon, but this was ignored. Nobody was taking care of this. Also, they failed to perceive other hazards. Looking at the looking at the crowd in Haram, there are always Haram is always full of people, and especially when it is close to Hajj season, it is full of people. And you guys are keeping a crane there as a hanging sword. Okay, so this was ignorance basically. This was failure to perceive the hazards to the operations and business. Okay, cavalier attitude to the management of risk. This is also, this can be one of the reasons. Cavalier attitude or arrogance towards health and safety is another attitude usually most of the companies are involved in, and they think, why safety, why to waste time and money, rather going towards safety, rather wasting a lot of resource and time to safety, let us focus on operation. So this is one of the attitude which usually organizations are involved in. So this might be the attitude there also. Narrow view of business management. Whenever you are, working with companies, they have different attitude. They have different view of the management. So it is possible that in Bin Laden also there was a narrow view of the business management, and only production, only profitability was the main focus. Health and safety was not on top priority. Lack of humanitarian considerations, we all know this is one of the moral reason. Okay, sometimes the companies are thinking differently. They are only thinking about business, they are not thinking about the moral values to protect human lives, to prevent injuries, to prevent ill health and all of those effects to the general public. So this could be also one of the reasons, guys. And poor safety culture of the organization, for sure, this is clear. where you have all of the above points discussed in detail. It shows very poor safety culture in the organization where people are not focusing on health and safety, but their focus is towards other business objectives. So these are some of the points, guys, which you can elaborate more further in your own words, and you can connect it with the scenario using information in the scenario, and you can come up with your point of view. So this is how to solve this question, and I would recommend you give a try to the rest of the questions, three questions which are there, using the same approach, same methodology. Again, I am emphasizing on the fact, guys. Don't write it in this way as you see in this slide. Okay. If you want to get good marks, you need to elaborate it further in your own words. These are just the key points for you to discuss, but you need to go with a little bit more detailed perspective to gain 15 marks. You need to justify 15 marks, and you need to show examiner your detailed analysis on the scenario. So friends, this is how you need to solve such scenarios, and I hope that you like the video. I hope that you are going to solve rest of the three questions mentioned in my scenario here. So guys, once again, I wish you best of luck for your exam ahead, and I will try to come up with one or two more videos before your exam if possible. Unfortunately, I'm also very busy nowadays, but anyhow, I owe you guys that I know that you are passing through a time where you need support and help. My support is with you guys. I wish you best of luck once again and see you in another video very soon. Thank you very much.